Welcome to the guide for the Roaring Temple dungeon in Throne and Liberty. First, to select the dungeon, open the Party Finder by navigating to the menu. From here, select Co-op Dungeons and scroll down to find Roaring Temple. After selecting it, click Party Matchmaking to begin matchmaking. You can monitor the status of your group formation by checking the Party Finder interface, where you'll see the players joining. Once the group is complete, you'll get a notification to accept the invite. Simply click Accept to enter the dungeon with your team, and the adventure will begin. Communication with your team is essential. If you need to talk with your group, open the in-game chat by pressing Enter and selecting Group Chat to discuss strategies and mechanics. After entering the Roaring Temple, the main focus will be clearing through groups of mobs in several rooms. Stick together as a team and use Area of Effect abilities to quickly dispatch enemy waves. In the first section, you'll face some standard enemies with no special mechanics, so prioritize group coordination and efficient damage. Keep your tank at the front to draw aggro, and make sure your healer is positioned safely. Watch out for any ranged mobs that may stay at the back and require more attention. As you progress deeper into the temple, enemies may become more aggressive, so it's essential to stay vigilant and respond quickly. Once you clear the first rooms, you'll need to glide down to the lower level. Keep an eye out for ranged enemies that might target you during the descent. Upon landing, you'll face another group of enemies, this time with a mix of melee and ranged attackers. Stay close to your team and use crowd control abilities to manage the mob density, preventing them from overwhelming your group. Make sure your tank holds aggro, while your DPS focuses on bursting down the most dangerous enemies, particularly any ranged mobs that can deal damage from afar. Healers should be ready to top up health between waves, as this area can get chaotic if you're not careful. As you push forward, clear the remaining enemies while watching for any potential patrols that might sneak up from behind. Once the final wave is cleared, head to the northeast corner to interact with the Mana Flood Regulator, which will trigger the next phase of the dungeon. At this point, interact with the Mana Fluid Regulator, which will flood the room with water. You'll need to swim through the flooded area to progress to the next section. Take this time to make sure everyone in your group is together before moving forward. Once you've made it through the flooded area, you'll encounter another group of mobs waiting for you. These include a mix of melee attackers and casters. This section requires coordination, just like before. Position your tank to pull aggro while DPS focuses on crowd control and eliminating enemies. Don't let them surround your group. Healers should keep an eye on everyone's health, as the fight could get chaotic. The casters will often create damaging ground effects, so be sure to avoid standing in those areas while you focus on eliminating the weaker enemies first. Prioritize taking out the ranged enemies and spellcasters, as they can deal significant damage from afar. Tanks should work to pull the melee enemies, keeping them grouped up so the DPS can use their Area of Effect abilities to take them down efficiently. As you progress, watch for elite enemies that have stronger attacks or more health. These elites are more dangerous and require focused damage to bring them down quickly. Once you activate the second mana fluid regulator, the room will begin to flood, forcing your group to swim through the submerged area to reach the next section of the dungeon. Be sure to stay together and move quickly, as the water can sometimes slow your progress. After you emerge from the flooded area, prepare yourselves for a more intense challenge. The ancient Berserk Dark Enforcer awaits you. This enemy is significantly stronger than the previous mobs you've encountered. It has high health and deals considerable damage, making positioning crucial. The tank should immediately grab aggro and maintain control of the Enforcer, ensuring that it stays focused on them. Meanwhile, the rest of the group should focus on dealing sustained damage, using their most powerful single-target abilities to bring the Enforcer down. Once the Enforcer is down, you need to carefully glide down to the lower level. As you descend, you'll need to avoid the dangerous pillars of fire that shoot up from the ground. These fire hazards are particularly tricky, so make sure to time your glide correctly to avoid taking damage. Once you land safely, you'll encounter a new set of mobs. These enemies are positioned strategically throughout the area, so stick together as a group and clear them out one by one. Focus on controlling the battlefield and keeping your health in check, as these mobs can be quite relentless. After dealing with this set of enemies, you'll proceed up a set of stairs. If you're following the Dimensional Circle questline, this is where you can collect Paula's research journal. Take a moment to gather it if you're on that quest, then continue forward. You'll soon face another group of mobs, so be ready to engage. These enemies are similar to the previous set, but you'll need to stay focused, as they are positioned in a way that can catch your team off guard if you're not careful. Keep using your crowd control abilities and area of effect attacks to handle them efficiently. Continue moving through the halls. You'll encounter more waves of mobs. Keep working as a team, using area of effect abilities to clear each group as you progress. Soon, you'll reach a set of stairs where the enemies become tougher. These mobs deal more damage and have higher health, so focus on taking them down quickly. As you engage, ensure your tank holds aggro to prevent the group from getting overwhelmed. Healers should keep an eye on health bars, as these enemies can hit hard. Use your crowd control abilities wisely to manage groups and interrupt any powerful attacks. Keep your DPS steady and avoid standing in any harmful ground effects to minimize unnecessary damage. When the room is clear, descend the next set of stairs. Here, you'll encounter another group of mobs, which are noticeably harder to defeat. These enemies hit harder and have more health, requiring more focused coordination from your team. Tanks should work to keep these tougher enemies controlled, pulling them into manageable groups. DPS players should focus on burst damage, while healers keep everyone's health topped up. Watch for any special attacks or abilities from the mobs that could disrupt your progress. Keep the pressure on and take them down one by one to clear the room. After defeating the initial group, move a little further into the same room, where you'll encounter another set of mobs. These enemies are slightly more challenging, so keep your tank positioned to hold their attention while your DPS continues using area of effect skills to clear them. Make sure to manage your cooldowns and stay topped off with healing, as this section can be tougher than the last. Once you've handled these enemies, you're ready to progress further.
I'll make you regret coming here.
After descending the small set of stairs, you will face the ancient Berserk Shade Wizard, the final mini-boss before the main boss encounter. This wizard is tough, with high health and powerful magical area of effect attacks that can deal significant damage if you're not careful. Throughout the fight, the wizard will periodically summon zombie mutts that will chase players and explode when they get close. When the mutts start glowing blue, it's a signal that they're about to explode. So it's important to kite them away from your group to minimize the damage. Focus on keeping your distance from the mutts and dealing with them quickly to avoid being overwhelmed. The Shade Wizard's main attack is a powerful area of effect attack strike that hits in a large radius. It's essential to stay mobile, dodging out of the circle when you see it forming. The key to this fight is staying spread out to avoid overlapping area of effect attack damage, while focusing your DPS to bring the Shade Wizard down as fast as possible. Once you defeat the ancient Berserk Shade Wizard, the path will open to the campfire area, where you can rest and recover before the final boss fight. The final challenge in the Roaring Temple is King Chimaerus, a multi-phase fight that requires precise teamwork. One of the first things to watch out for is the jump attack, where Chimaerus leaps toward the player with the highest aggro, usually the tank. Make sure the tank is positioned to absorb the hit, while others stay clear of the attack's radius. Chimaerus also uses a poison spit, leaving dangerous poison puddles on the floor. These puddles persist for a while, so stay mobile and avoid them as you continue the fight. Another attack to be mindful of is the tail swipe, which targets players standing too close behind the boss. Keep your distance to avoid getting hit by this powerful melee strike. One of the most dangerous mechanics is the paralytic venom. Chimaerus will choose a random player and inject them with venom, marked by a green pillar above them. After a few seconds, the venom paralyzes the player, and the boss shoots 3 deadly fireballs at them. The tank must quickly position themselves between the boss and the paralyzed player to block these fireballs. Other teammates can help absorb the damage if needed. The next phase involves the fire wave, where Chimaerus channels a massive area of effect fire attack that covers the entire room. To survive, the team must activate 4 chains located around the arena by grappling them simultaneously. This releases water to douse the boss and stop the wave. Failing to do this will result in devastating damage to the entire group, likely causing a wipe. As the fight progresses, Chimaerus becomes more aggressive, increasing the frequency of his fireball and poison attacks. At this stage, it's critical to stay mobile, keep healing up, and react quickly to mechanics. By maintaining tight coordination and staying aware of the boss's telegraphed attacks, your team can emerge victorious in this epic encounter. After you defeat King Chimaerus in the Roaring Temple, a loot chest will appear, giving your team access to valuable rewards. However, there's a unique token system in place. When you open the chest, you can either take the items or choose to preserve your tokens. Tokens are crucial because they determine how many rewards you can claim in future dungeons. If you take loot from the chest, your token count decreases, limiting the rewards you can get from other encounters. This means that as you play, you'll need to decide carefully. Should you take the rewards now, or save your tokens for potentially better loot in a harder dungeon later on? This system adds a layer of strategy, requiring players to weigh the current loot versus future opportunities. Managing your tokens wisely ensures that you maximize your loot over time, as running out of tokens too quickly can limit your chances for rare gear down the line. Thanks for watching. If you found this guide helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more Throne and Liberty content. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions or strategies you'd like to share. And hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. See you in the next video.